All right, welcome to 50 Ball, man. What it do,
Hey,
Rio?
what's up? What's up? What's going on with you, man?
Man, it's been a minute, man. It's been a
Man,
minute.
yeah, we're back in action for you guys, man. Got a couple things we want to kick off for you. Uh, just to get things started quick, the hot topic is, of course, Will and Jada. I saw online that there was a petition with people talking about they want to stop them from talking about their marriage because it's pretty much too much information.
Yeah.
And of course, Will has his book out. And one of the interesting things, that I saw about the book was from, you guys might know him as Carlton, but Alfonso Ribeiro. He said he doesn't want to read the book because he knows the people. Pretty much, like he knows them, and that's too much information in the book
Yeah.
for him to feel comfortable around them. So, that's kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that. Like, how do you look at knowing too much about a person?
Well, I think there's levels to it. There's like Will Smith. I have a lot of respect. And look, I know him as Will Smith for a long time, but I wish he was won't Will because I wish he wouldn't. He wouldn't be talking about all these all these all these sexual experiences. I say he's had. He said like what he was cheated on right years ago by somebody, and he said he's having some hyena sex or something with so many women. I'm like, I don't know what he really meant by that. I was a hyena.
Wait, he really said that? Hyena sex?
He did. He did call it hyena sex. He did. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I make sure that I got the animal right, so I don't get like a hate email or something by PETA or something. But saying like I don't want to get that.
Hey, that's above doggy style. Like hyena.
Will is obviously legendary and on and off the camera. It seems like so. I wouldn't have told that personally. I wouldn't have told that, man. If especially how he described it. I think he said he would throw up. Like he had so much sex, he was throwing up. Like after he hooked up with so many, So I wouldn't have told that one. It's like I would have kept that to myself, man.
Yeah, that's the thing with books, man. Of course, the more they put out, the more people are intrigued because it's almost like we spoke about this briefly to where people at work. Obviously, people have a life outside of work, but once you get to know them outside of work, you look at them different while you were at work. Like that's why it's weird if you ever dated somebody that you work with and y'all broke up. It's super awkward after that because y'all done been to places that most people don't go to.
Oh yeah.
And she likes hyena style.
Yeah.
That she's into that. So you would look at her different than as if you just work with somebody and you don't know that about them. You can assume that people are doing something, but if you don't really know that, you're not looking at them as like, dang, she's a freak, or he's a freak or whatever. You're just looking at them as if they probably get crazy after work. Like you're just assuming you don't know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I mean, I understand them, in saying that he doesn't want to read the book because he does know them, and you don't want to just look at somebody different. Like if your manager is a freak, you're obviously gonna look at her different.
Oh yeah.
You being a professional, you might not treat her different, but in the back of your head, you're thinking like, man, I cannot believe she like hyena style. Like you're gonna be thinking that.
A lot of women like animal lovers, so I'm not surprised. I mean, if you want to expand on the animal kingdom, it shouldn't be. I think maybe that's what I think people didn't think he would say hyena. They thought he would say.
That is wild to me, man. That is funny.
They didn't think he would say that. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about Jada too, man? I mean, she's very open with everything they're going through, whether they have good sex, bad sex, or they're just like.
Man, it's just different, man. Well, I mean, most people disclose too much information about themselves. I mean, you just have no choice but to look at them different. I mean, I used to see Jada like in different movies, and you just thinking like, oh, that's Jada. Like Low Down Dirty Shame. When I seen that in the 90s, I'm just thinking like, oh, shoot, that's Jada, man. She's funny. She's cute. Let's watch it.
Yeah.
But now you see her, you're just like, dang. That's August. You thinking about August Alsina, or you thinking about it's just anything crazy. Like your mind gets off the subject. And that's what's kind of messed up, I guess, when people do learn too much about you. Yeah. They're always thinking about that too much information. Like they're always thinking about the stuff they shouldn't be thinking about at that moment. Yeah. Like King Richard, when we was watching it, a lot of people might just say, man, I can't really, this is a good movie. Yeah. But that's Will Smith, man. I don't really look at him the same. you know, but you also got to remember, well, it's not about Will Smith. He's just playing the part. But in your mind, you can't get out the fact that he used to throw up after sex.
Yeah.
Or that he he's messing around. Him and his wife, they're swingers or something. Like it might be hard for you to shake that thought while watching that movie. So that's the only thing. That's why I don't disclose too much about myself, because I'm not trying to be giving you a presentation about podcasts or something like that. But then you thinking about me being a hyena, like I don't want to get those wires crossed up.
Right. It's like, look at this hyena father. He trying to give his tennis lessons and he got some spots. And it's like, wait a minute, that's like out of context. The whole movie. So people can't shake how they feel about you based on, like OJ, right? So people think about more than just the juice.
Exactly.
But now that OJ, you're thinking, oh, OJ, like people think more about that than like, what he did or what he got away with. So I mean, like, I'll ask you this. I mean, like, how much is too much? Because people in the world are nosy as hell about celebrities and what goes on with their life, who they mess with, who they divorce from. So why is it at this point people want to say, oh, no, that's too much? When you start talking about throwing up during sex, now we don't want to talk about that.
I think anything like any type of like sexual intercourse could be too much. It's like, I'm not finna go to work, or I'm not finna go to like a party or something and be like, oh, my favorite position is doggy style. Like, I mean, it's one thing for you to assume that, like, he probably likes doing that, but it's still kind of just like, once I announce that to everybody, every time I come back around, they're gonna be like, oh, that's what's the name, he like that, And so I think anything with like intercourse, man, is a little too much. I mean, I ain't no prude or nothing like that, You don't gotta be no nun. You don't have to be a nun or super uptight. But once you get into the nitty gritty details, that's when it becomes too much. Or just even your weirdness, like like you saying, oh, I pick my nose when nobody's around. That's just like, now every time you touch me, I'm gonna be looking at you crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's little weird details. That's where it just gets too much for me. I mean, I appreciate you telling me you pick your nose, so I won't let you touch me.
Right.
Or dig in my chip bag, but it's still too much to know about a person.
There's a chip bag.
Yeah.
Because I agree when I think about when they start divulging, some things sound like something you should tell your therapist. And I think like when Will talks about things in his book, it could be super personal. So he's talking about some psychological problem with him that led him to throwing up after having like an orgasm or having some kind of reaction. That's very specific.
Yeah, it is.
And I feel like that's something you would tell a doctor, or like a counselor or something. Like at that point, I'm like, so I would ask myself, should I be hearing this? Should I be hearing this? It's just to be polite. I'll let people say what they want to say, but I ask myself, should I be hearing this right now? Like,
I mean, the tricky thing is like that was his whole goal too. I will say that. Like, his whole goal was to tell you, things about him that we didn't know. Because a lot of us had that polished image, or, maybe not me, but a lot of people had that polished image of him. And he just wanted to give people a little bit more of the truth, which, I mean, it's cool. I mean, especially for shock value, it's cool that he did that. And, you can sell the books off of that. And the more people talk about it, like we're talking about it now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, definitely for his purpose as being an entertainer, it worked. People are intrigued and they're buying the book.
Or they're buying hyenas. One of the same. I mean, it might lead you to do some different things. Tiger King got some competition.
Yeah, he do, man. He do. But yeah, as far as a normal person though, I wouldn't be comfortable. I'll probably feel like Alfonso to where if I'm at work and somebody at work is telling me, they like hyena style or something, I'm just like, dude, that's a little bit too much. I do not need to know that. Like, don't tell me that, or don't tell me you're throwing up after intercourse. Like that's a little uncomfortable because I don't know Will Smith. I mean, as an entertainer, it works. Like I mean, I'm not entertained by it, but it's just like he's getting a reaction out of people, and so that serves his book purpose, similar to Scottie Pippen in his book.
Yeah,
he talking Kwame Brown crazy, man.
Man.
No, he passed Kwame Brown. Like Kwame has a reason. Kwame, hey, what's up? Yeah, Kwame's cool. He has a reason, but Scottie, man, he's on something else right now. So, they're entertainers, and that's what they're doing.
I don't know if Pippen is much of an entertainer anymore. Like I don't know. It's like it's a difference when people like are really looking to see what you do versus Pippen. Like people just know who you are, but I don't know if they're entertained by Pippen.
Yeah,
I feel like his, whoever his dating is more entertaining. Like, you know,
Yeah.
whoever cheated on him, you know, I forget her name. Was
Oh
it
man,
Larissa or something? Was it
Larsa Pippen.
Larsa? Okay, Larsa, yeah. So Larsa Pippen, you know, so when she cheats on him and then it turns into, okay, like, now you got her attention. Like,
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know if they're together. I think they're separated now, but yeah, man. I mean, you definitely gotta be careful, man. Just telling all your information to folks, man. Just because, not in Will's case. I will say that just because he's doing this for a purpose. Even though we may not agree, he is doing it for a purpose. He's doing it, you know, for the book. It's gonna sell. You're learning more about him that you didn't probably want to know. But for the average person though, like if I knew him, I probably wouldn't want to read the book either, just because I don't want to look at him different. You know, like I just want to look at you for who you are. You know, I don't
yeah.
want these crazy details always popping up in my head. Like if you're trying to like sell cookies or something, I don't want to be thinking about something crazy other than the cookies. You know, or even King Richard. You know, like watching King Richard, people might be like, "Oh, it's hard to watch Will Smith right now." Well,
Yeah.
he's not being Will Smith. He's being Richard Williams right now.
Right.
So that's the only drawback from sharing too much information is it's hard to get it out of people's mind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You know, I guess like, you know, that door has been open for a while.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I think now it's like something else comes out. People can't be too surprised. Jada been super open about whatever
Man.
goes. Super open. It's been 7-Eleven. It don't shut down, you know what I'm saying? Like, so now something comes out. I think maybe it's more surprising because Will says something. Maybe than Jada.
It's still pretty wild. Yeah, they
Yeah,
both.
you know what I'm saying? Like they're both pretty wild, but it's like, which one? Which one? Which one? I don't know. Maybe people would be less surprised if Jada said it, or you think it would have been like the same shock value? Like,
It's I don't know, man. We just see people do something that you don't see many people talk about in the light. I think it's always kind of surprising, you know. Like even the rumors, you know, we heard rumors about them having an open marriage, but when she openly admitted it, it's just like, man, you know, even though you had ideas, it's still
Yeah.
pretty. You know, you're not surprised, but you're just like, oh, that's wild hearing her talk about it. You know, you just don't hear about people talking about their escapades all openly like that.
no,
You know, so that's the thing, man. So
no.
I don't know. Are you a fan of that though? Like, I mean, you like it? You want them to keep it coming, or you want to you want them to put a stop to it?
Oh, with all the talking about, I think they got to put a cap somewhere in before it starts overflowing. I mean, you can try to. I mean, how much more could you say? I mean, everyone knows already so much. Like, okay, y'all are open, and Will has a past that obviously affected him. I mean, just keep it regular. I mean, whatever y'all always talk about, then y'all keep talking about. But when you start getting into that, yeah, I would suggest to try to dial it back.
Yeah. Hey, I commend them though. They're honest. I'll give them that because yeah, some of that stuff like the throwing up stuff. Yeah, hey, I wouldn't tell anybody. Like you would never know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, man, that's.
I mean, it is kind of like educational because look, who would have thought that? You know, because maybe somebody want to Google, hey, I could throw up after this.
Hey,
Like,
you probably got people throwing up too, and they're just like, oh, I'm not the only one.
yeah, they're like, oh, you too? We have so much in common, Will. So much in common.
I know. Speaking on that, what did you think about the movie though overall with King Richard? Because I thought it was good, you know. But what did you think about it?
I need to check out the movie, but I did hear about what wasn't in the movie, and that was the Williams sisters' dad, right? That's being portrayed by Will Smith. I read that his daughter, I guess, would be like a step sibling to the sisters, or no?
No, it's to their sister. It's just a half sister.
Oh, half sister.
Yeah, the daughter from his previous marriage.
Okay, so I'd be a half sister. Came out and said that they were upset that they weren't included. That the movie is only giving a half story. They're just talking about the Williams sisters, but you know the other siblings. Like, what about me?
Yeah, well, I don't know. What do you think? You think they should have been included, or you think it was justified in not including them?
I mean, it's justified between what was the point of the movie.
I agree.
Movies are about having a narrative. They're trying to deliver a message, and not necessarily the whole truth. And maybe that's obviously what the sister wanted was a whole truth. Like,
That's a good point.
most movies don't have whole truths. It's just the movie. You know, their point wasn't to show everybody in the family and everybody, you know, like the whole entire. But I do understand the slight when you're half anything, no one likes feeling like the half, you know. It's kind of touchy subject for a lot of families. Like, you're not my real brother or sister, or we don't have the same.
Right.
So I get that. You know, so I think it's justified, but it's, you know, I mean, from their perspective, I get more so like, what would be the point?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what's the point? And that sounds gonna be heartless. But it's like, well, like, you know, they're part of the family too. I'm like, yeah, but you're not a part of this story necessarily.
Hey, you hit the nail right on the head.
I don't know. What did you think about it?
No, I you summarized it perfectly. I mean, her feelings are justified. You know, you can definitely understand that, especially with that being her father, and you're thinking, well, you need to tell this side of his story too.
Sure.
But you know, but the thing is, I mean, you're there for the tennis. You're there for the Williams sisters. You know, Venus and Serena, and how they became who they are. You know, these big icons, and how they, you know, worked up to that success. I mean, like you said, you're there to talk about that narrative. I mean, because otherwise we wouldn't care. You know, if the Williams sisters wasn't the Williams sisters, nobody would care about, you know, Richard Williams and his kids from the current marriage or the previous marriage. Like, nobody would care less about that. I mean, we're sucked into the movie because they are a big deal, man. I mean, they're inspirations, and you want to see how they overcame those obstacles to become who they are. So the movie was to serve that purpose, tell you that journey, you know. So of course some things are gonna get left out. So again, I'm with you. I can understand how they want to be mentioned in the movie. You know, that she probably didn't want a big part in the movie. She probably just wanted to mention, which I can totally understand that is. But I get both sides of it, man. It's a double-edged sword. You know, it's not about that. You know, like you said, that story didn't contribute to the tennis story.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, you know, don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, you hope the best for, you know, the entire family, but for the purpose of telling that story, you know, telling about his past relationships wasn't necessary. Doesn't mean it's not important. I mean, their feelings are important, but for that story, it just wasn't relevant.
Nah. And I mean, you know, I think those kind of feelings come from a deeper, you know, inside of you. You upset because because obviously maybe he wasn't the perfect father. You know, I mean, maybe I could see that. You know, maybe he's focused all on his tennis stars, and maybe less attention on, you know, he feels like, you know, half siblings always feel like the other side. You know, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they feel like I'm the other side. Like, you got Venus and Serena, and I'm just the other. So maybe it's like a deeper feeling like, oh, so you just gonna leave me out? I mean, it's not like the dad made the movie. I mean, it's like, this is Will's movie.
Well, I think they wrote it from the dad's perspective. So he gave, you know, and the Williams sisters, they executive produced it. So, I mean, they had a lot of input.
Okay.
But it's just,
that makes sense.
That's a different conversation, you know, honestly. You know, like, that other side of the family, that's a different discussion. I mean, the points are valid on both sides, but that's honestly just a different discussion, not for this movie. And man, you should check it out, man. I mean, it's a good movie. I loved it. It was a great movie. Watched it twice. It's probably the first movie that I've watched twice in a long time, because I usually, you know, I'm a one and doneer.
Yeah.
But now the movie was good, man. But obviously, you know, I mean, they're a big deal. I mean, it's hard to get all of that in 2 hours. You know, something's gonna get left out. It has to happen. You know, it happens every time. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, like, this isn't like, you know, it's not like Lord of the Rings where you get too much information, and it's just like after the second hour, you're just okay. We're just rolling the clip at that point. You're just rolling the clip. But this is like, you know, most movies, this is like specifically narrowed, you know, and you know, you're gonna have your heavy hitters like Will Smith to draw the attention of most audiences. And you know, I don't want to seem like it's, you know, directors heartless, you know, with what they're doing, you know, but it's that's the intention of the movie. I think is just it's just like, when I thought, like, you know, when I saw the previews, I thought of it as like, this is just a Williams sisters movie,
right,
with Will Smith being like the face,
right,
because he's like, which I thought, like, why is it named after him? I'm like, was he so special? Maybe you could always, like, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm like,
wait, so why is it named after the father?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if that's his name, Richard. I don't know.
Yeah. That's his name. Yeah, Richard is his name.
Okay.
That's her dad, and they told the story from his perspective.
Oh, okay.
The Williams sisters had input, but they let the dad tell the story from his perspective, and he definitely was a big deal. I mean, that's the father. He taught him the basics. He I mean, not only that, I mean, he raised them. You know, he took care of them, provided. So
Yeah.
he definitely was a big deal in their lives and getting them to where they were. You know, it was up to them to have that dream and to work on succeeding at that dream.
Yeah.
But he gave them the necessary tools to achieve it. So I mean, he's a big deal, man. You know, I mean, I respect him. He's a big deal. Obviously, nobody's perfect. You know,
Yeah.
hey, I mean, it really ain't my business on what happened with the other marriages and stuff like that. Hey, stuff happened. You know, I mean, but I mean, as far as what he did for them in that capacity, I mean, I respect it, man. You know, I mean, he didn't do things perfect. You know, when you see the movie, you'll see that, but none of us does. You know, overall, I think he said he had the best intentions for his kids, man, and I mean, it worked out. I mean, Serena and Venus. I mean, Venus, Serena. I mean, they're big deals.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty awkward Thanksgiving. If you're the other sibling and be like, oh, so y'all just had your movie, huh? I don't know. That's all I can imagine.
It sounds like they don't I don't know if they even met before, but
maybe they don't even talk.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't sound like it.
You know, so I mean, I would definitely go see it though. But definitely, I think from their perspective though, it seems like I don't know. Would you feel left out? I guess I'll let Scoot. I guess like, would you feel left out?
It's justified. Oh yeah. If I'm in such a position, it's definitely justified, man. You know, because it's just like, what about us? But
right.
Sometimes I chalk that one up to the game. I mean, it's just. Yeah. I mean, because you're justified to feel how you feel, but you understand though.
Right.
You know, that's just like, you know, you with somebody, you was mistreating her, and she moves on from you.
Right.
You're gonna be hurt, but you understand why she's moving on from you.
Oh yeah.
You know, because I just like say I was being a dog. You know, I get why she left. So in that case, it's not that the kids gave him a reason to leave or nothing like that. It's just one of them things to where you justify how you feel, but you also understand. You know, I probably would understand why I'm not in the movie for them. You know, so
yeah.
I don't know, man. I hope the best for them.
And honestly, like, if that is the only person that has a problem with it, they probably would care less, honestly, just because of, I mean, they see it as like, it's like, you know, if you read a book and you know what happened and they make a movie, most book readers have a problem with the movie because it's not exactly what they read.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. I watch a movie and I enjoy it. I'm cool with it. I don't say, oh, well, like the character in the book looked like this, but the one in the movie